Hi guys. Okay, so I've been back from physical therapy for a while, and I had some coffee and something to eat. And when I was walking this morning, and I had an idea. So I was putting together some of the Happy Mail and trade stuff, including, excuse me, a box of fabric and tissue for somebody that wanted to trade. And when I was going through the fabric, I saw some scraps in there that I had to grab back out and keep. Because I remembered I had a project I wanted to try for them. Now, I didn't grab all of the scraps of these fabrics, but I just grabbed little bits because I did want to try to make a few fabric flowers. So I have this one. These are just scraps. I have this pink lace, and I have a couple of different colors of a pink chiffon. And then I have these brads that I got at Ross this morning. And a while back, when I was making the fabric that I used in the paint chip journal, you guys have all asked me about the fabric. If you look back at, there's a video, I don't remember what I titled it, but it's about using up my old inks, my old spray inks and my homemade spray inks. So probably if you just search my channel for ink, it will show up. Anyway, that video is where I make the fabric. And part of that included dyeing some doilies. So I dyed these quite a while back when I did the fabric. And I always intended to make flowers with them. So we are going to work on that today. I also have these like little small, kind of mangled, old, I'm trying to pick them up, hold on, little roses. And I don't know, this is my like bits bucket. I don't know what else to call it. So I've got a piece of Velcro, got some old jewelry. These have been gifted to me. I bought some washi tape, and they sent me this little tiny teddy bear. Isn't he cute? I'll use him on something. He's cute. Here's a pin. This came on a bottle of, I wanted to say wine. I think it might have been rum. Oh yeah, rums. It says right on here, rum. Anyway, it's a little Buddha. Oops. I don't know, can you see him? There we go. So I have that. My mother-in-law gave us the liquor for Christmas, and that was on there, so I stole it. I have a little bag of broken jewelry. I love broken jewelry, by the way. And Secret, if you're watching this, Secret. Sorry, you told me I could call you Secret. The bead that's on your paint chip journal came out of this bag, which was gifted to me by... I used to have a daycare business, and one of my daycare babies, Jenny, who's not a baby anymore, she's 6 months younger than my daughter, who's going to be 20 soon. And in fact, I think Jenny just turned 19 last month. And anyway, she saves bits and pieces for me. She has for years since she was very little. And her mom send me things, or that when they come down to California to visit from where they moved to, now they live in Washington State. They bring things to me to use in my art, because I've always saved bits and pieces, and when they were little, we used to use them in art at daycare. And so she brought me these little bag of beads and charms and bits. The charm that's on your paint chip journal, Secret, and the one that's on the other one that I sent out. I only made 3. I kept one. I sent the other 2 away. Both of the other 2 journals have charms on them that came out of this bag. Anyway, and so most of these other pieces of old jewelry are from Jenny. And so here's another one. And then I've got some random earrings. Aren't these cute? I'll use a little flower on something. I have a pair of them. There's another one. Well, I guess they're not a pair. They're not exactly the same. They're different. Here's another one. Oh, I do too have a pair. Here's another one. And I've got another flower. And the Hannah Montana guitar pick from the Hannah Montana Journal is in this bits bucket. So I don't know what I'm going to do with just one of them, but it'll stay in here unless one of you wants it in Happy Mail. I don't know. So I'm showing you these because I'm going to pull a few of these bits out. The brooches are too big, I think. Maybe these flower earrings might work. We'll pull 2 of them out. Let's see. Yeah, it might work. I'll put the charms back in. I got a little piece of baker's twine that came, I don't know where I got it. Might have come with some washi tape or something. Okay, put all those back in my bits bucket. And we're going to make some flowers. So the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to rip, whoops, I want, see how some of this has a frayed edge, whoops, I want that, I like that frayed edge. So I want to rip some of this so it's more even. Let's see. So now, when you do that with fabric, it's going to rip across the straight of the grain, so you're going to get a fairly even, it won't be perfect, but it'll be a fairly even straight piece, and that's kind of what I want. I want it, I don't mind if it's a little bit crooked, but I don't want it tons of crooked. So then that's the printed piece, so I'll set all those aside. I've got some thread. And this is green. This is just because this is easy and that's what I grabbed, but you could use any color. It's not going to show, doesn't matter. I want to use some lace. Lace is a little bit more difficult. It's not going to really rip, so. My pieces aren't going to all be the same length either. They're going to be different, so I'm not going to measure. And this one, I'm going to leave this one so that it's not straight, so that it's all funky. I'm going to just, except that I don't want it that funky. That's a little bit too much. I actually want, if I cut it regular, I'm going to, without even thinking about it, cut a straight edge. So I'm going to kind of bunch it up and trim. And that's going to give me something that's real crooked. And that's what I want. Okay. And then cut that off. Okay. Put that aside. And then I want some chiffon. Let's see. It's not a very big piece. That might work. That's already cut too, so I like that. Okay. Try not to move my arm too much because I had therapy today and it's sore. They made me stretch it up. Yeah, it's not good. All right. So I'm going to thread my needle. All right. Whoops. Fairly long piece of thread. These are my daughter's old kindergarten scissors. She'd be horrified to know I still have them. Okay. So we're going to use one of these as the back of our flower. Okay. So the thing I need to do next is I need to decide, let's see. I'm going to start with the print. I'm going to just go with my gut and follow my instincts, and I'm going to start with the printed. And I'm going to take the edge, there's the selvage edge, is real neat and clean, it's not fraying. I'm going to start with that because I want the frayed edge to be facing out. So I'm going to just run my needle all the way down the selvage edge, non-frayed edge, and I'm just gathering the fabric on my needle. You don't have to know how to sew. You don't have to do perfect stitches. They don't have to be the same size. They don't have to even be small. Just go for it and have fun. Okay. I'm going to pull it fairly tight as I'm going too. And as I learned today in therapy, it's okay to move my lower arm like this and to use it as long as I don't Move the shoulder. I'm going to glance up the screen every now and then and make sure you guys can see me. And how long you cut your strips, that just depends on how big do you want your flower? How full do you want it? I mean, if you want a small flower, do smaller, thinner and shorter strips. For this first one, I want kind of a big flower. This is probably as close to the whole shabby chic thing as I ever get. I love shabby chic stuff. It doesn't fit with anything I do, really, but I love the way it looks. I have nothing like it in my house, so it's a little bit too floral and feminine and lacy for my husband. He would not be able to stand that. Okay, so as I get to the end here, you have something like that, right? So I'm going to take all these things hanging off. That's going to happen, so let me try to throw some of them in the way. Oh wait, you know what I meant. Throw them in the garbage. Okay. They don't want to come off my hand. There we go. Okay, so when I get to the end, I'm going to pull it tight, and I'm going to take my needle and go back into the beginning. And pull so that you get something like that. Do it a couple of times, take a couple of stitches, and then tie it off. I have a loop of thread here somewhere. Let's see, where's that thread coming from? There we go. Got it. There's a little piece of thread hanging out like way at the beginning. Okay, so pull it tight. Okay. Take a couple stitches and then tie it off in a knot. Okay, do the same thing with all of your different pieces of fabric that you want to layer into your finished flower. I'm going to do that and I'll be right back. I'm back before I got them all done. So on the lace, I decided I wanted it half the length, so I cut off half of it. And I'm also, this has a selvage edge too. It's a kind of a pretty edge, but I want this raw, uneven edge to be facing out. So I'm sewing along this edge. You could do it either way, whatever works for you. So I am going to finish sewing and I'll be back. Okay, so we have a doily for the back. I have the fabric gathered circle. I've got a chiffon one and I've got a lace one. Now for the lace one, I think I want the lace one to be part of the center of the flower. So it's a little bit too long. So I'm going to just gather it like this because I don't want it even, remember? And I'm going to just trim it. And I have to tell you, as I'm making these, I'm thinking my grandmothers, both of them are passed away, but they both were seamstresses, and they would be horrified at how uneven I'm cutting these and how uneven the stitches are. Especially my Italian grandmother who just passed this last February. She was all about the hand stitching, and yeah, she'd be kind of horrified. A little bit. Sorry, Grandma. Sorry, Nana. Okay. So the idea now is to layer them on the doily so they look like this. And then we have a neat fabric embellishment, sort of a shabby thing. I like it. You don't have to go out and get special ribbon or just use what you have. The question I have is, what do I want for the middle? I think I want some of these old flowers for the middle. Maybe one of these brads. You could put the brad in the middle. We are going to use a combination of hot glue and epoxy. So I'm going to plug my hot glue gun in and let that warm up, and I'll be right back. I think the hot glue gun is hot enough, and I made a second fabric circle because I have 2 flowers I want to make. I'm going to get out an extra hot glue stick. Okay. So for the first one, I have a doily here, and I am going to put some hot glue in the center, and then I'm also going to put, actually maybe I won't. I was going to use another glue too besides, but I'm just going to do hot glue. You could use fabric glue or something else if you wanted. And I'm going to stick this fabric circle down and hold it for a second. Okay. Try not to glue it to my drop paper, that would be bad. Which I almost did. I'm going to put some more glue on there. Let's see. I'm going to use the back of this empty sheet of labels. It's kind of non-stick, and so hopefully things won't stick to it too much. Let me actually see if I can switch cameras so you guys can see better what I'm doing. Hang on, I'll be back. Okay, so hopefully you can see better what I'm doing. So here's the first flower that we're going to make. And I have glued the fabric to the doily with the hot glue, right? Pull all the strings off. I hate glue strings. Okay, so I glued it to one of these doilies. So I have more of those left. So for this flower, I'm going to take these doilies and I'm going to fold them in at least fourths. I don't think if I fold them smaller, it's going to fit around. So I'm going to fold them in fourths like this, and I'm going to glue them all the way around the center. Like that. Hold it down. Okay. Now, I like the idea of putting a little bit of glue in the center on each piece of doily and the tip of each piece of fourth, pulling a couple of the layers down and holding it. Ow. Try not to burn your fingers. The glue is hot. Okay. This would be why I don't mess with hot glue too much. The mess makes me crazy. All the strings make me nuts. If you want to be like a good professional hot gluer, get all the strings off. The good ones don't leave strings. I'm going to do that all the way around. One more. Okay. Ow. Hot, 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 hot. Okay, and then hold that down. Okay. Isn't that pretty already? Fluff it up a little bit. It's pretty, isn't it? The tattered fabric just gives it an extra oomph. So, and on this one, I do think I want to use a brad. So I just picked these up at Ross. It's in it's in my latest Walk With Me video. Walk With Me for Physical Therapy. And I think I want to use this one. Whoops. So they all come out. Okay, let's just take them all out then. So I'm going to use this large. I think I want to use this large one right here. Do I want to do that one? Or do I want to do pink? Or white? I don't think I want to do white. I'm going to follow my first instincts and do this one. So in this case, because I'm not using it actually as a brad, I'm going to cut the little arms off the back. This is a cutter from Buttons Galore. It's actually a shank cutter for cutting off the shanks off of buttons. I got it a long time ago at CHA. Now they sell them at Michael's. Then they did not. You had, the only way to get one was to order it. There's a little piece of the brad stuck in the, there we go. Okay, so I'm going to put a little bit of hot glue in the middle, and we're going to stick our sparkly bit in the center. So there's one. Isn't that pretty? You can use it as embellishment on a journal cover. You could put a pin back on the back of it. You could put a hair tie on the back of it. Isn't that cute? Okay, so let's make the other one. So for the other one, I picked out a bigger doily because I think I want this bigger one for the back. It'll show better. You'll see what I mean. So I'm going to put some glue around the center, trying to hit the spots on the doily that have some more fabric than the other parts. And then I'm going to put this down and hold it down for a minute. And see, when I put this on here, you see why I picked the slightly bigger doily, so that it shows outside of the fabric a little bit more on this one. And then I'm going to pull it up before it dries too much, because otherwise it's going to stick to the paper. So then I'm going to put the chiffon down. Be careful with the chiffon because it is a sheer fabric and you will burn your fingers. The glue will go right through. Okay. And then we're going to put the lace. Be cautious always when using a hot glue gun. One of the reasons these scissors look so well loved is not because of my daughter in kindergarten, that's part of it, but also because I use them to do things like this and hold down the hot glue. Okay, I'm going to pull all my hot glue strings off because, you know, we hate hot glue strings. Okay, some of the fabric strings are going to unravel it a little bit more. There we go. So now on this one, I want to put some of these little tiny rosebuds in the center. These little old rosebuds. These are actually off of some old Jenny. Again, Jenny gave these to me. They're off of an old little black veil that I'd given the girls a long time ago to play dress up with, and she's a grown-up now, so she doesn't need it. She brought it back to me, which was very sweet. She says, "I know you can do something with this, Auntie." She was right. So I'm going to take these little flowers and I'm going to trim the stems, what's left of the stems, off. And push them in and hold it down. Glue strings everywhere. Okay, so that's cute. Oops, lost a leaf. Let's just stick that sucker back in there. Okay, do I want to still put a brad? I might want to still put a brad in the middle. I like these little brads, they're really cute. Glad I bought them. Okay, I might need to put another brad. I have 3 of these little ones, 1 in each color. Let's do that because I like that. You can just go crazy with this, and this is one of those things. I was talking about stick pins in another video. This is one of those things definitely that you could put a stick pin in.
would be really cute. I like that. So there you go, there's another one. So 2 different ways to make a fabric flower embellishment for your art journal, as a hair tie or whatever. Just some ideas off the top of my head, something I've been thinking about for a while. Give it a shot, let me know what you think, and don't forget to go out today and do something nice for yourself. I'll see you later.